The 10th anniversary event at the Singapore Grand Prix brought its first wet race and created a whole new set of unknowns into what is traditionally viewed as the most difficult race of the season for the race strategists. With a 100% likelihood of a safety car in dry conditions, Singapore is always about managing the risk-reward profile when making decisions that will affect the race result. But this year, with rain pouring down before the start of the race and the race control committing to a standing start rather than a rolling start, the risk of an accident at turn 1 increased significantly. Here we will examine the risk-reward decisions taken by some teams and drivers, look at what went right for some and wrong for others, such as the Perez versus Bottas versus Sainz battle, which was decided on strategy. And we will explain what tactic Mercedes was trying to use in the final third of the race, which Lewis Hamilton was uncomfortable with carrying out. And of course, the risk-reward profile also applies to driving tactics, with Sebastian Vettel getting his risk profile all wrong by trying to block against Max Verstappen, who was not in the title fight with him and who therefore had nothing to lose in trying to win the whole shot at the start. Likewise, Kimi Räikkönen's risk-reward profile was also wrong as he made a fast start, but ultimately his responsibility was to work for Ferrari to achieve maximum championship points for his teammate Vettel against Lewis Hamilton. The outcome was the opposite. Pre-race considerations on the grid. As the rain fell, the main decision was whether to start on the wet or the intermediate tire. The front-runners all went for the intermediate because it is more likely to be able to run through to the point at which you can switch to slicks, which the wet is less able to do. So there is no point to risk adding in another 26-second stop from wet to intermediates into your race. Also, the faster cars have higher downforce, so can generate heat in the intermediate tire, whereas the Sauber, for example, couldn't, and that makes it more likely that they will crash. So the risk-reward profile for the cars further back showed that it was safer to get a clean first lap on wets and see what the attrition rate is like further forward with accidents. A safety car, or several, is highly likely, and that would give a chance to switch to intermediate tires for the cost of around 15 seconds at safety car speeds rather than 26 seconds. So that is why the grid was split 50-50 wets and inters. For the midfield it was a more nuanced decision, but it favored the intermediate. One of the most interesting races was between Carlos Sainz, who started on intermediates, and Sergio Perez, who started on full wets. Chance of a podium for Hülkenberg and Perez on a night such as this. Teams like Renault and Force India can score a podium if the decisions fall right. Sergio Perez had a shot at it. He battled with Carlos Sainz and Nico Hülkenberg, who had a good shot at a podium after a great start but later retired. Valtteri Bottas scored the final podium position, however, because of the decision of Force India to start both cars on wet tires. Starting 12th on the grid, Perez was in 4th place, ahead of Bottas, after the chaos of the start, and had he run the race that Sainz did, running the intermediate until the ideal crossover point for slicks on lap 27, Perez could well have finished on the podium. Starting on wets and needing to pit for intermediates at the second safety car on lap 12 also cost track position to Sainz, which Perez was unable to recover. Analysis of the laps around the stops to switch to slicks, 27:28, showed that there was nothing Perez could have done differently there to gain that place back. It was one of those days when everything fell into place for Sainz and the strategy was pitch perfect. But he would have been racing for positions behind Perez and Bottas if Force India had gone with the intermediate decision at the start.